As Jim Rohn famously said, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Getting divorced is risky. Jumping into your car and driving down the motorway for 2 hours is risky. Moving in is risky. Getting on a plane and flying to another country is risky. Starting a business is risky. What is the point I'm making? It's what we focus on is what matters. So people talk about positive affirmations and negative affirmations, and that is one element of it. That is one aspect of it. But the example I gave, the quote that I used from the famous Jim Rohn, rest in peace, is all of a sudden, and look, there are studies behind this with testosterone and our testosterone naturally being reduced year on year in terms of the average, but we've become so risk averse. Every time we want to embark on a new project, we always focus on what if, but what if in terms of the negative? What if it doesn't work out? You know, you decide not to go to university, you pursue an alternative path, and your mum and dad say, but are you sure you want to do this? They immediately focus on the bad risks. They immediately focus on the negatives. You've become so risk averse. But as I've already alluded to, anything that you embark on in life is risky. What matters is what you focus on. Now, I'm not saying that you should completely neglect risks. That is not what I'm saying. But we never look at the reward. What if it pays off? You always analyze the glass half empty. You never see the glass half full. Think to yourself for just one moment, any situation, any predicament, have you ever analysed that situation with the glass half full? How many times? But more often than not, for the majority of us, we analyse every single situation, every single thing we go into with the glass half empty. You go to a motive, you go to a party, you might have social anxiety. You immediately think about the worst case scenario. You immediately think about the worst outcome. What if everyone looks at me when I walk in? What if I stutter over my words? What if everyone starts to laugh at me? What if I make no friends? What if I can't introduce myself properly? What if I smell? Whatever, right? Why are you thinking about the negatives? The likelihood is you're going to be well respected. You're going to be admired. You're going to be absolutely fine. But we never think about the positives. Think about the amount of connections you're going to make at this motive, at this party, at this networking event. Instead, you think about the negatives. And then you wonder why you're jittery, you're nervous, you never go to many of these events. You never push yourself to the limit because you're always holding yourself back. You're so risk averse. You focus on the negatives. If Thomas Edison, when he failed over 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, if he decided, you know what, that's 10,000 fails, but he never looked at it like that. Thomas Edison never analysed it like that. He took it as 10,000 bloody lessons. He never took it as 10,000 fails. And that's why he was ultimately successful. You look at so many famous examples. Napoleon Hill speaks about this in Think and Grow Rich. Henry Ford, the car maker, the first ever car manufacturer, Ford. The guy came to his workers with a piece of paper, with the diagram, with the drawing of the car. Cars weren't invented back then. And he said to his workers, I want this built in 6 months. He went in there completely the opposite of being risk averse. He went in there full steam ahead, expecting the best possible outcome. His workers told him impossible. He said, no, try anyway, go for it, be brave. Let's see what happens. He went in there with a positive mindset. He looked at the glass half full. That is how I want you to operate in life. It doesn't matter how trivial, doesn't matter how small. Look at things in a positive light, in the best way possible. Bob Proctor famously once said, and rest in peace to Bob Proctor, when you change the way you look at something, what you look at changes. It's the same principle. I'll give you an example. You might hate your 9 to 5. You might hate your employment. And if that's the case, that's a sad indictment. Unfortunately, that's the vast majority of people. Find a job that you actually thoroughly enjoy. That's a separate discussion. But instead of analysing it as, I despise my job, I have a genuine disdain, I don't like my colleagues, I don't like what I do on a day-to-day basis, you can shift the paradigm, you can shift the mindset and say, well, at least I have a job. There's millions of people that are unemployed who don't have a job. You can view it like that, you can analyse it like that. It puts food on the table, it enables me to pay the bills. And that is helping me, enabling me to move the needle, to ultimately move to where I need to. See what you've done there? You've changed the way that you look at something, because ultimately what's happened is that thing that you've looked at has now changed. all of a sudden things become more positive. All of a sudden you look at things differently. Everything changes for you. You enter things with a positive attitude. That is the key here. Because you can wake up in the morning and have a negative mindset completely and operate in that fashion. And let's see how far that takes you. Analyze everything with the glass half empty. Go for it. See how different your life will be. It will be horrendous. And then you wonder why you get unlucky. You wonder why you can't get anything or nothing goes your way. People say, why am I always unlucky? Nothing happens for me. You wonder why, because you're entering everything with a negative frame of mind. And then you sit there and you ponder and you wonder why things aren't going your way. We're not rocket scientists here. No wonder why. It's the same thing. It's the same principle applies. You look at the intellectuals, the most famous people. I've already given a couple examples. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein. These people, they failed hundreds of times. They failed thousands of times. But because of the way they looked at things were different to the average person, they were able to accomplish sensational, enormous feats that most people won't ever achieve. The minute, with the average person, the minute something gets difficult, they throw the towel in straight away. Screw this, I'm not doing it. They move on to the next shiny toy syndrome. That's a genuine thing. And I used to suffer from this. I know that many guys suffer from this. They start a business model. It inevitably gets hard. They come across a hurdle, obviously, because nothing is sunshine and rainbows. And then they go, I'm definitely not very good at this. And then after 2 months, they quit. And then, this new business model, let me jump into this. The cycle repeats. It's perpetual. It's never ending. And then 5 years go down and they wonder why nothing's changed, because they're not able to focus on a specific thing. The focus isn't there. The minute the going gets tough, they throw the towel in. And the way they look at it, forget about it. They view it as failures. They view themselves as failures. So when they smack their face on the floor, they never get back up. It's the same principle. It's the same thing. Focus on one thing. Focus on the positive. Focus on the positive outcome. Enter with a positive mindset and attitude. I know it's easier said than done, but it's something that you have to consciously train your mind over time. Analyze the glass half full. Stop analyzing the glass half empty. Even just changing that one thing that I've explained and portrayed in this video can make a massive difference in your life, because you already might be doing the right things. You might be going to the gym on a daily basis. You might be eating healthily already. You might be doing the correct things, but because you have such a negative attitude, what will end up happening is you won't get the results you want, or you will just inevitably give up. It's the same principle that applies. Compare yourself to who you were last year. Compare yourself to who you were 6 months ago. Don't compare yourself to other people. Comparison is the thief of joy. And I'm going to end on this final quote for you guys. It's by Earl Nightingale. It's actually a quote that I have in my bio of my Instagram, link in the description. And it goes, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." I will say it one last time, by Earl Nightingale. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Hopefully you've gained value from the video. Make sure you smash the like button, consider subscribing, hit the bell notification, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.